Who's first? Ladies. Who's first? Ladies. Who's first? Ladies. What time is it? It's time for the ladies. It's the ladies first Chit-Chat crew. It's time for the ladies. It's the ladies first Chit-Chat crew. L-A-D-I-E-S, L-A-D-I-E-S, and we're up first. L-A-D-I-E-S, L-A-D-I-E-S, and we're up first. Speak what you want, unbossed. Speak what you want, unbossed. Speak what you want, unbossed. And we're up first. Unapologetically great. Unapologetically great. Unapologetically great. And we're up first. Yes, ladies. That's dope. Yes, ladies. That's dope. Yes, ladies. That's dope. And we're up first. It's time for the ladies. It's the ladies first Chit-Chat crew. It's time for the ladies. It's the ladies first Chit-Chat crew. One time for the ladies in the house. Two time make the people scream and shout. Lachelle, Chandra, Crystal with Nikki on boss and Nikki. L-A-D-I-E-S, and we're up first. L-A-D-I-E-S, L-A-D-I-E-S, and we're up first. L-A-D-I-E-S, L-A-D-I-E-S, and we're up first.
A little louder.
Oh, hey, I love that. A little louder. One time for the ladies in the house. Hey, what's up, pretty ladies? Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew, where we honor the voice of the everyday woman. Oh, you look cute in y'all's shirts. I do have to do a little disclaimer this morning to the ladies. Right as our opener was going on, we got a message from Facebook saying that our Wonder Woman Need Love 2 page is having difficulty streaming, and they said that it's their responsibility and they are working on it as quickly as possible.
Huh.
Okay. Yeah. And we have a lot of our viewers that come from the Wonder Woman Need Love 2 space. So if anybody texts you, please send them to the Ladies First Chit-Chat crew page. I just got another message. They said they are working on it as quickly as possible. We apologize for the inconvenience. It's on their end. So I don't know what that means. Well, we're going to have a nice show, Jill of all trades.
Yes, we are.
Everyone. How y'all doing? Y'all look good.
So do you ladies.
Can we, before we get started, can we share what we're wearing today?
I guess I gotta step back a little bit so you can.
Can everybody tag and share what we're wearing today? Yes.
I'm gonna sit like this all day today.
Look, I did my hair like my shirt.
Hey.
Me too.
I guess I should have put on a
cap. Should have put on a.
Today we are wearing our official LFCCC t-shirts created by our very own Chandra Prophet Audrey. No. I want everybody to talk about
hashtag we got merch, baby.
we got merch. I want everyone to talk about their shirt, starting with Crystal JG. I'm so dope. Tell everybody about your shirt this morning.
I'm not going to say praise the Lord, everybody.
Oh.
Look, that's because I was trying not to give God the glory. Look, I'm gonna do it like this, but I'm gonna give him the glory because that's what we do. I'm so dope. The reason why you need this shirt is because when I look at her, I see not only me, I see the divine feminine. And if I'm not feeling dope, it reminds me that I am. Not that just that I'm dope. I'm so dope. So everything that's happening is gonna be all right.
I love it.
Can I kick it? Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
Y'all, we real quick, we are having Facebook difficulties today. Side note, can someone go to the LFCCC?
I'm on there. It's on.
It's on? Okay,
yeah.
because we just got another notice saying connect to your destination. So we're okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Facebook is doing the most or the least.
Or the least. Yes. Facebook is doing the least. So Chrissy talked about her I'm so dope t-shirt. If you want to get Crystal's I'm so dope t-shirt, please go to the Ladies First Chit-Chat Crew.com and you look at the top and you'll see the Ladies First Chit-Chat Crew t-shirts. Get your I'm so dope shirt. Lachelle, tell everybody about your shirt. Tell them about your shirt.
Back it up a little something. So my shirt with the locks, the girl with the locks. The saying on my shirt is lose the plot, find the joy. Because in what I've done in my life and how I've lived my life, I realized that when we try to stick to a script that we wrote, we find ourselves in a lot of turmoil. If you just let go of the plot that you created and you stay in flow and you stay present, you will always find your joy, not frustration, not challenges, etc. So lose the plot, find your joy is the same my so dope shirt.
Again, if you want to get the shirt, go to the Ladies First Chit-Chat-Crew.com for, say it again, Shelly, lose the plot, find the joy.
Find your joy.
Yes. Now, Nikki, boss, tell everybody about your shirt.
Mine is creating space for me.
Yes.
So for me, it's about always, I mean, anybody who's listened to the show, it's really about always taking a moment to put yourself first, reminding yourself to put yourself first. It could be in the smallest or the biggest ways, but in the midst of everything, finding that space where it's just for you.
I love. Again,
creating space for me.
Creating space for me at the Ladies First Chit-Chat Crew.com. Chandra.
I was like, are you mad at me? What?
Everyone, you know, I'm the worst at calling everybody by their nicknames. I need to make sure everyone knows that your name is Chandra and Lachelle's name is Lachelle because I'm like, Shelly, Shani.
You said, are you mad at me?
Yes. Well, praise the Lord, everybody. I'll go ahead and say it for both of us, Crystal. My shirt is unapologetically great. That goes with
say that on the beat. Come on, go ahead.
I mean, that goes with no explanation, y'all. Like, come on. We walk into spaces. We live in this environment. We live in this world. We walk through this world being unapologetically great at everything that we do. And y'all know that's my stance. That's who I am. That's how I rock. And you know, you see me on the street and I'll say this to you. Like, this is what I live and breathe by. So my shirt is unapologetically great, and it has this face like what? Tell me something different.
Try.
Right. So yes, you can go on to the ladies first chitchatcrew.com and cop this.
Amen.
The album's dropping today.
And what about you, Nick?
My shirt says, putting me first in the midst of it all. Putting me first in the midst of it all. And honestly, this is why I created the show. I created the show based off of, I realized that I wasn't putting myself first. And I said, I know there has to be a lot of other women out there that feel the same way. And I remember I kept saying, I got to put myself first. And that's when we started the whole Wonder Woman Need Love Too, putting me first in the midst of it all. And I remember that's when I called Lachelle. Ironically, I called Lachelle and Chrissy. And I said, I want to do this show this weekend. And I wanted it to be about putting me first in the midst of it all during the pandemic. Ironically, that Friday, I was training Chandra Prophet at 5 o'clock in the morning. I told her about the show, and she says, I'm there, I'm watching. Then I called up Nikki Boss, and Nikki was like, okay, I'm going to be there. And I said, I need you to take notes. And ironically, look at the Fab Five that's putting themselves first, that's saying they are so dope. That's what is it again? Shelly, lose the plot, find your joy. I need to hear that for myself. Lose the story and find the joy. And also being unapologetically great at everything we do. And of course, creating a space for me. Everyone, go get your shirt at the ladiesfirstchitchatcrew.com. And don't worry, we're going to make sure that we re-put this up this weekend because I just got another message from Facebook saying that they need 24 hours for our Wonder Woman Need Love Too space to be put back up. So I'm going to make sure that I re-put this up just especially for our Wonder Woman Need Love Too viewers, because that's where we get a lot of our viewership from on Saturday. And the show will go on, right?
Amen.
The show will go on. Hey Denise, what's up, girl? How you doing?
On the site right now, it states that the shirts are sold out. That's not true. That's just a holding space. So if you're on it right now as you speak, it does say that we are sold out. But keep going through the motion of purchasing, and you still be able to place your order if you're doing it right now.
Yeah.
You would be able to place your order and get this on.
I want to just say very quickly that you should. There's something really powerful about having affirmations in front of you constantly. And one thing that I love about shirts that have sayings that not only uplift the wearer, it also emanates a message out from the wearer that then attracts back what they're saying. So I love shirts, sayings.
Absolutely.
And these are great. Unapologetically great.
Let me tell you, that just goes that I cleaned out my closet last night. I finally got my personal stuff finished in the house. And I have so many t-shirts, it's almost ridiculous. But I could not. My wife was like, oh, are these, because I had a pile, and she's like, oh, are these gonna be given away? And I was like,
about that.
She's like, but can you fit them? I'm like, it's the things that they say on it that I can't let go of right now. They're like, I am definitely this person. This is part of the reason why I started my own t-shirt company, was because my slogan is wear your voice. Like, some people cannot physically audibly say things that, how they feel. And so put it on a shirt. You can always just put it on a shirt and people can read it and you could just be like, yeah. And so I have a whole bunch of shirts that I used to not be able to say things out loud, and I would just wear it on my chest.
I love
and
that.
I can't let those shirts go just yet.
One of the other things I love about the shirts, Shani captured us. My girl has short hair. Look, I'm gonna try that little part on the side. And I put some big earrings on. And I also, got my sunglasses, you know.
Hey.
And then Chrissy's has big hair. And then Nikki's shirt has braids and a ponytail. Johnny has her hat on and her grill grin that she likes to do. And of course, Michelle's woman has locks. And so if we are not providing the voice and capturing the voice of the everyday woman, I don't know what we're doing, right? Speaking of that, let's talk about the show today. Y'all know that we always have conversations on Thursdays, and Shani was sharing with us that she and her wife were having a great conversation about the title Jack of All Trades. Jack of All Trades. And our topic today is Jill of all trades or mastery of one. Is one better than the other? And Shani proposed this question to us. The term Jack of all trades sometimes has a negative connotation. As a
Not sometimes.
You're right, not sometimes. When the term Jack of all trades was first created, it was created in a positive light. It was about someone who is great and adapts well to multiple activities. And then all of a sudden someone says Jack of all trades, master of none, but oftentimes better than the master of one. So we started, Shani brought this to us, and she and her wife were talking about this, and we got in a deep conversation about it. And one of the things that hit very uplifting to me that also supported me in thinking of this in a positive way, I was reading Crystal's bio, and Crystal, she is prideful about her being a Jill of all trades, meaning a woman that is excellent and great, unapologetically great at multiple things. So today we're coming to y'all, Jill of all trades or mastery of one. Is one better than the other? And some of the questions I want to throw out to you guys. Why do people criticize when you do a lot of things well? Do they want you just to do one thing? Don't y'all, then they get on y'all nerves when people say, oh, you do too much. Girl, you're doing too much. Why you
that
doing
phrase? That phrase alone makes me want to peel my skin off. Literally, do not say to me you're doing too much, because I take offense like 100% to it.
But if you think
I don't laugh about it. It's not a joke. I'm giving you a deadpan stare, and I'm like, why are you talking to me?
When you think about it, that's the direction that people have been molded to think that's what makes you great. And in some cases it does, right? The focus of mastery of one, right? Of one thing that you can do really well. But a lot of that is molding and direction too. That's instilled in people to focus like that.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing is like what both you guys said. Why does it bother people that people do so many things, that they're skilled? I mean, I'm looking at this screen right now. All of us do multiple things extremely well. Why does that bother people? What is that about?
I have found that it bothers people that women do too much for themselves, right? It's fine when you are doing a lot of things for other people, right? I don't ever recall being told by someone when I'm in service of them, right? Planning their baby shower, making the cake, picking up the kids, making the designs for the tables, doing all of that. I've never heard anybody say, girl, you doing no, then I'm a but then when I am investing in my own business, creating something, resting, taking a girl's trip, making sure that I have what I need in my house, it's like, child, you're doing too much.
Well, let's work with that. Let's work with that. I mean, specifically women. Women, traditionally at one time were thought to do specific things, right?
Yes.
the idea of us doing multiple things creates opportunity, right? It's the opportunity for us to, into male dominated worlds. It's the opportunity for us to have choice and options. So when you specifically think about women, right, as you pointed out, we went from a place of traditional, this is what you do, and it was very limited to the idea and challenge of the opportunity of having many different options because you've been trained to do many different things, the Jill of all trades.
Yes.
I'll tell you how it came about for me to write it in my bio. Actually, I do a lot of things. I do things that some people don't even realize, and I post it, and they're like, "You do that?" I'm like, "Yeah, girl, I've been doing that all my life." But I was one of my dearest friends, her daughter came over. She was doing a dance that was being recorded, and she needed her makeup done for stage, right? It needed to be bold. It was going to be a rain scene, so it needed to stay on so that in the rain she would still have her beat, right? And so she's like, Auntie Crystal, can you do my makeup? I'm like, can you come right now? Because I do makeup. And she's like, you're a Jill of all trades. I was like, I'm stealing that I'm a creative, I'm an executive, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, all these other things. But it was really important to me from when I was very young, because people who know me from from childhood say to me, you were always like that. I didn't realize it. I'm an only child, so I didn't have to like share space often. And so in my room, I used to sew outfits for my Barbies. So see, you learned, fun fact, I know how to sew as well. I'm a creative though, and a lot of those things that came naturally to me, I was like, I'm cerebral, I'm a reader. You wouldn't think that somebody that does this also like this. So I ended up from a young age doing things that made me feel good. And then I do the things that I had to do. So I'm a math nerd, even though and I hate social studies. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I was able to identify those things young. And then what I didn't realize I was doing in my 20s and 30s, I was keeping those things as part of my life. So people who knew that I did hair would be like, Crystal, can you do my hair? People who knew I did makeup, whatever. It just was natural for me. And then I found myself feeling odd because there were people that like, I cook. Be like, okay, you do anything else? Nope, I just cook. That's fine, because I cook well, but I don't cook like this person that has a restaurant. So I feel like I always valued people's differences, and I never felt like, girl, you doing too much. But I will say this to you, if she's watching, my mother was always concerned about me because she's like, you're tired, you don't create space for you to rest. And I was like, I'm going to rest when I'm old, because right now I gotta I'm doing hair, and I'm teaching a dance class, and then we going out to do a paint and sip or whatever. But I would be enjoying myself thoroughly. Now that I know that, I was say real quick, I was telling the ladies that I realized that when I connected with like Debbie Allen, that she did a lot of things, and I was like, okay, she's a dancer, she's a writer, she's a director, she's a producer, she's a mom, and then from the show aspect of my life, I saw myself in her, and then I stopped trying to listen to people saying that it was too much, because I was like, no, this is just me being Crystal, and when I show up as Crystal, I'm okay. So
But see, that's it.
I also, sorry. I also see too that I know, with knowing all of us, we are Jill of all trades, and the multiple trades that we have that we just so happen to be masters of, seems like they are coming together to create that amazing goal, or that amazing opportunity that we all have individually and collectively. Like I think about myself, and Rebecca always laughs at me because I go, I'm a publicist by trade. I'm a PR director by trade, and Rochelle is too. Of course, I'm a trainer, I'm a fitness expert, I'm a singer, I'll do all this stuff. But I'm noticing now as I create my empire that I'm creating, all of these trades that I have been cultivating and doing and molding are now coming together to create the big pie in the sky that
big impact.
the big empire, and so I feel that all the multiple things that we do, I I think it's commendable. It's amazing. I do believe, as all of us as women, we grew up with women around us that did multiple things and are masters at those things. So of course we're going to do those things. I just feel like my question is to you, what are you a master in? Are you a master in all the things that are your trades? Or is there one specific thing that you do have that that you do well unequivocally?
Before we move into that question, I want to say this about what Crystal was saying. It's very interesting to me, and I think about this often, about like the difference between someone who is on a level like Debbie Allen, who is my heart, versus someone like us, considered to be a regular person. It's very interesting that but it's interesting that someone that holds the caliber of a Debbie Allen, a Felicia Rashad, a Kerry Washington, and all these amazing women who do everything and so much, that are just multi-hyphenate, and their hyphen, it keeps hyphening over and over and over again, and people praise them because of the level that they are, versus someone like us who are considered everyday women doing pretty much the same amount of tasks in a day, that they might do, but it's considered to be too much. It's very interesting, and I use Miss Allen as a example for myself as well because of that. She seems to have been in the limelight for a long time. For half of people's lives. At if you think about it, but like she's been doing the way that she's been rocking the way that she rocks since day one. Like if you look at her bio and like all that kind of stuff, her mother purposefully made her a Jill of all trades, so that in when she became who she is now, like it would be stuff that falls off her back. Like she can do 10 things at once, literally sitting here and not bearing blanket. You know what I'm saying? It's just so interesting that like, another photo of that is just like, I've entered into a new thing that I'm doing, and I haven't told anybody. And a part of that is because I don't want to hear like, oh, you do so much. You got another thing going on. And thinking about this conversation and saying to myself, I'm like, why haven't I said it or announced it or all that kind of stuff? And it is because of that. I don't want to hear nobody say, I don't want to have to flip. I don't want the light switch to go off. If you say, oh, you do another thing, and then I have to just reel myself back and say, it's okay. Look at these people who do so much, have so many things under their belt, and either at one time are doing all of them, i.e. using Debbie Allen again, in one setting. And she's a producer of a show, she's a producer, she's a line reader, she's the director, she's the choreographer, all on one show, and we don't say anything about that.
Well, when you're making is a point that I wanted to make to us and to our audience. Debbie Allen and the like don't get the same "you're doing too much" because they've been externally validated. They've some sort of cultural, universal industry threshold where it's like, oh, you're either doing too much or you're a star. What I say, and the point that you made about not announcing what you're doing now to the world or to people is the point I was thinking when you were talking, which was we have to, as people, as women, as people, we have to begin and maintain our okayness with who we are and what we are doing, right? We don't need other people to say, oh, that's amazing that you're doing that, or oh, that's much, right? The more that we show up as who we are, and the more that we say to ourselves, like, I'm the Jill of all of this, and I master all of this, and that's just who I am. As Crystal says, when I show up, I am Crystal, full on Crystal. No one does Crystal like Crystal. If we do that, then there won't be this threshold. We'll start to sort of erase that threshold in our culture, right? But we do collectively as people, we really do say, like, I wonder what everyone's going to think about me doing this, until you get to a status where everyone is looking at you to see what you're going to do next. Like that.
Right.
So this is, I just want to go back to Nikki's question about mastery, right? When King Richard came out and everybody saw what Mr. Williams did with those girls, right? Everybody's like, okay, maybe I should be doing one thing, because if I had been doing the one thing all these years, I'd be Tiger Woods by now. I'd be, one thing. And I think that was really dope that he was able to, to see that in them. And that's not everybody though, right? But you do. Oh, Michael Jackson's father. Don't. If it wasn't for him, them boys wouldn't have been. I don't know. Like, we will never know. But I do think that there's something that's celebrated about doing one when you get to levels like that. And it's not a right nor wrong thing. It's just different. And then if we think that Serena Williams, Venus and Serena only do tennis, that's not true. It's not true. They're exceptional at that, but they're also multiple things.
I want to hit on.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Well, I want to hit on a couple things. Unfavorable statement. I do believe there is a point that you're doing too much, girl. And I just think, like, the perspective that needs to be put around that is, in life, whether it's the journey you're on or the journey you're trying to drive yourself through, there are many things that you might want to learn or get involved in. There are choices that people make that diversify the number or the types of things they get involved in. So, like, you take Crystal, you like to do hair. I don't know if that's really on the journey of something you want to do professionally, but that's definitely something that you love, and it feeds you in another way. So in your case, if you were doing that and other things, I'm like, she's just enjoying her life and she's filling it up. There are people who are investing in themselves in a way that they have their hands in multiple different pots, and they're totally opposite. Right? I believe that you are learning from those experiences, but at some point you have to realize when the puzzle doesn't connect and it's not going to help you to get where you want to go or what you're trying to do, or if it doesn't feed, you need to at least manage the idea. And Nikki, you should be familiar in this conversation, even when you and I would work together, like, you have to be familiar with the idea that you're doing this because you love it and not because it's helping you get where you want to go. And you have to manage that, because in all reality, you are doing a lot of things, right?
Well, that's why that connotation became negative. That exactly.
They cut off the end.
Yeah, but there is a point where you're only one person, and if you're trying to achieve something, you got to put the majority of your focus in that area. With that said, I think you need both, right?
Yeah.
Because people who are Jill or Jack of all trades, the beauty of many of these people, and I consider myself to be possibly one of those people, is the beauty of being able to see a broader view to be able to bring a different perspective than someone who might be mastery of one. You've only focused in one area. You know this like the back of your hand. You have beliefs or learnings, education that have fed into what you're doing, and you have maybe even proven out that it works, so it's verified, it's confirmed, this is how you do it. And that's how we have stars that are mastery of what they do. However, we need both. We need people who are generalists that walk in the room and basically can listen or see things that one mastery of one person can't see or do. We need both.
It's interesting because for me, what I'm realizing is it's never too much when it's coming from your soul and it's what you love and want to do. And then I'm also thinking on the mastery side, half the people in my coaching practice have focused on mastering one thing and they're miserable because they've mastered something that isn't from their soul, is not from their spirit. It's like their family said, you should be this. And so they went after it to make it amazing, and they are, but they're not doing anything that they truly love and enjoy.
And that goes back to being taught, being trained, take jobs. Like I was forced to get certified. Like right. I'm not interested in being technical, like you're forced to go in that direction. But the thought process that's what makes you great.
Yep.
But I also, Shelly said something about it, speaking to your soul. I can say that, I in middle school, high school, I did everything. Nikki was play, running track, and I was able to cheerlead. I was able to do it all. I was good at all these things, and my coaches and teachers would have to compromise to share what I would do. When I got to college, I went to school on a full track and field scholarship. And I remember I was trying to be on the little dance thing and I broke my toe. And my coach was like, we paying for you to go to school. You're going to be right here. And I remember track and field became my life. It became my life so much that when I got my first major injury in school, I was devastated because I had let all of the other things go. And that was when I started bringing back the things that make, but Crystal said, Crystal, who she is, that make Nikki who I am, because I needed to find that. So when I was training for the Olympics and 3 weeks for the Olympic trials, I had an awful injury that set me back. It was one of the things on why I ended up retiring. When I got injured, I was depressed, but then all of a sudden, because I had put the singing back into my life and the acting back into my life, my PR degree in graduate school, I was working for the sports information office, and someone couldn't sing the national anthem, and someone says, Nikki sings, and they were like, track Nikki, and they were like, track Nikki sings. And so they were like, Nikki, will you sing? And I sang the national anthem, and people went crazy.
What happened? What happened after you sang it? What happened?
Went crazy, girl. But as a result of having this other trade, someone was out in the audience, and I got asked to play Dorothy and the Wiz at the Paul Robeson Performing Arts Company. Wow. But it was when I learned in college, because I had put all my eggs in this one basket. When I got hurt, I was depressed. So I started bringing it back, that when it came back later on a larger scale, I was still sad. But as a result of having these other things that spoke to my soul, I was able to move forward, and it didn't set me back as bad as it did when I was.
Girl, God broke your leg so you could sing that national anthem.
Exactly.
And then,
You just gave an example.
Because he was hearing your soul.
Nikki, you just gave a good example of the fact that I think, at least, no one has to be one or the other. Mm-hmm. Like in different times in your life, you might be Jill or Jack of all trades, right? Or might be mastery of one. Yeah. What's really cool of learning so many things is the opportunity that it affords you, right? Because you have plenty of opportunities, right, that come about because of the many things that you can do. And it's the opportunity to just keep learning.
It's the opportunity to keep learning too, but there is something about what Nikki, when you said doing too much. I think it's, and y'all chime in here with me on this. I'm like unpacking this as I think. Mm-hmm. sometimes it can be overwhelming. I do have to be honest with you. Sometimes it can be, for me, it can be overwhelming. And
Because
that,
it's a lot of switching.
it's not that and put it this way, not now, not now. In the past, it could be overwhelming, but and I feel like y'all all can relate to this. It was overwhelming, but now as you see, oh, I'm just thinking about this, how all the trades relate to one another. You know, I could say that track and field is so farther from singing, but guess what? It's not, because when I run on the track, I'm performing. And that's the same thing. One of the things that speak to my soul, what I love about singing. You know what I'm
Everything you
saying?
do is performing. Everything I do is
Who is performing?
if I'm writing, talking,
That's the
yeah. Like at first, like in the past, I used to be like, oh, it's overwhelming. But now as I'm getting older, I'm looking at how they
and
all
also,
relate
let
and
me
how they
say
work
this.
together.
One thing, if you feel overwhelmed in what you're doing, I would suggest you stop and you say, am I doing this for me?
Ooh.
Okay, stop right there. You know why? You know why I need you to stop? Because I was going to say you helped me so much with that part right there. You came to my house. I was at the time I was doing something for others, right? I did not want to do it, but I had committed to doing it, and it was like something with my son's school. And I'm telling you, I'm, what did you say? Frustrated. I'm, annoyed. It's all this stuff. In the grand scheme of things, it wasn't a huge lift, but I didn't want to do it. And you said, then don't. And I was just like, what do you mean? I'm crying, whatever, because I was frustrated. And she said, they don't want the Crystal that doesn't want to be there. They don't want the Crystal that is like, you're huffing and puffing and you're like, your energy is all. She's like, you said to me, they want the Crystal that's shining her light and talking to people and helping and doing all this kind of stuff. So if you like, that's the deciding factor in all of this. I understand, Nikki on Boss, when you said like, forced, I think you said forced to get a certification, right? I understand that, but I understand that we've all, had situations where it's just like, okay, in order to do this, you need to do this. But now, and Shelly, after we were in my sunroom and you said it to me, and it was as clear as a nose on my face. I was like, it's not that it's bad. I just don't want to do that mess.
That goes back to what
I didn't want to do it. I just didn't want to do it. She said to me, and we were talking about another topic. She's like, your soul is telling you no. And then yours is like, well, I have to, and all of this stuff. And it was making me physically ill. So this soul thing is very, very connected. Now, responsibilities, commitments, and all that notwithstanding, I do think it's really important to identify, is this something you want to do? Because when I want to do something, irrespective if I am tired, it almost is like the tired, it feels like it's
It don't matter.
me.
When you were a child, and your mother said, you tired, you're not making space for rest. You don't need rest when it's coming from your soul.
That goes back to what I was saying.
Please read Keisha's message on Facebook.
It's not popping up.
You're on mute. What you think, Shelly?
Because I can't. I want to see it. I want to see.
Can you read it? Can you read it, Shani? Because it's not popping up on our feed.
Okay, hold on.
Please read it.
She says, I have a different feeling about doing too much. I have always done a lot, honestly, most times way too much. I took that into my career, and although I became a master at what I've done, and I feel like people started to expect me to do too much for them.
Yes.
Which led me to being underpaid, undervalued, and as a miracle worker. So now that I'm scaling back on doing too much for others, I am directly doing too much for me.
Amen.
Wow.
It was so nice. Thank you for joining us today.
Has ended all. I was gonna say the show is over.
That goes
I
back
wish
to
I was on the
you're
main
doing
page
too much.
to prop that up for everybody. But that's what I was about to. Literally, she took the words out of my mouth because in the words of Keke Palmer, Lauren Keke Palmer, the gag is.
The gag is, honey.
The gag is that when you are doing too much for others, it don't mean nothing. When you're doing too much for yourself, it is like, girl, what are you doing? And that's the gag. The gag is that now I'm doing too much for me, and I don't want to cuss in here.
You said you go ahead, say what you kick rocks. You say that.
Kick rocks with bare feet. Like because I don't.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say thank you for seeing Keisha's Facebook message. Can you see if you see any other messages? Because what's happening is our Facebook feed.
I'll go through them.
Only thing we're seeing are the people that are on YouTube. That's it.
Okay.
I'll post it. I'll post them on YouTube so you can repost it.
Okay, great. I want to say this because Nikki, you had started with the question about what do you master, and in this conversation, I'm realizing what we master is usually obvious to us, right? Because a lot of people will come to us for it, or we will do it a lot because we love it, like Crystal with hair or me with coaching, right? We know we mastered that because we love it. We'll do it night, day, whatever, in the rain, on a plane, all of it, right? What I think is an important question for us to ask ourselves is, what are the things that we are good at, right? Where are we the Jill of all trades that we ourselves are not acknowledging that we're good at? Because I think that's something that we, particularly as women, tend to do. We downplay what we've done, what we've accomplished, what we're good at, right? What gives us satisfaction, what gives us joy, the things that we've been able to produce or create. We act like it's no big deal, but it is. And I think it's important. We are all Jills of all trades, right? Some of us are Jills of all trades that haven't allowed ourselves to actually engage in those trades, right? We know we desire it, or we know we can do it, but we kind of stay in a closet or we sit back. But I really want to encourage us all to think about, well, what are all the things that I am good at, that I have done as part one? And acknowledge that, even if it's just to yourself, like Shawnee said, wear your voice, right? Write it down. And then part two is, what is the thread of those things? Because that is where your soul's mastery is. There is a thread in all the things that you have done well, and done well from a place of desire and joy, right? Getting a certification, no. Me doing well in school, absolutely not. I never understood the point of school. Not to say that education isn't great, but the system itself was strange to me. So what I'm saying is like, I think I want our audience and us to get more clarity about, what are you the Jill of the trade? Like, what are your trades? And what do you master? Like, let yourself recognize it, and then let yourself honor it.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. I love that. I'm here like,
right.
I can say this. I've been singing all my life since I was a kid, and when I was 7 years old, told my mom I wanted to move to where the Statue of Liberty lived to be on Broadway, and I did it. And then when I stopped putting myself first and focusing on my relationship and everything that had happened with that, I found myself not singing anymore. So I got very shy about it. And this was something that has been a part of my soul my entire life. I always say that when I started singing with Orphe and Andy Carl, and then now singing with Kristen Chenoweth, I have an opportunity to get that love back. But I was not posting myself singing or anything on it. I did it for the first time last week.
Let me just
say, I know. And I was like,
all the years that I've known you, I literally did not know you sang until this year. I was like, singing? What do you mean? Girl.
So I'm just verifying what you are saying right now.
A lot of people don't know that about me. And even like it's this video that I have that you saw, Shelly, when you saw me with Kristen Chenoweth, that I have not posted because I've been like, but when I listen to myself sing Natural Woman, I'm like, bitch, you can sing. That's what Shelly was like. I don't know you.
When I went to see you sing, I literally, the whole time, my mouth was so dry. I was like,
why don't you want to post it?
that's a good question. Why don't you want to?
Why don't you think, now that you're like noticing, like, why don't you think you want to share that part of you in a different way to others, with others?
I don't know quite yet. Like even what I posted last week,
okay,
it was good, but that's not what I like really do, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I had to talk with Rebecca about it. I was like, how come I don't post?
Can I say something?
Mm-hmm.
I've had this in my own life. When I realized that I could really kill something, I haven't done it recently, but I used to do this where I would really keep it in the closet. And I got out of that. But in retrospect, I realized in this conversation, because I didn't want people to control how much I did it. Like once they knew I was amazing at something, for women especially, people want to use you up for that stuff. And I didn't know then, but I know now, I am in control of when and where I lay out, display, or offer my gifts, my trades, my talents, my mastery. I didn't know that at a point. And so I'd be like, if they know I'm good at this, they're all going to come at me for it, right? But that's your ability to say, oh, thank you so much, but no, I'm not going to do that for you. Oh, thank you so much, but you'll have to find someone else. I was in a place, and I think a lot of us at some point in our lives, where if someone asked me, I'd be like, okay, sure. Even if I didn't really want to do it, but it was like, but you're so good.
It's interesting you say that, because there are some people who are really good at something and they will answer you immediately and say no, because it's something that I love doing and I don't want to get paid for it. I don't want it to become a job. I don't want it. But it's interesting that you say you're really not sure, and I think that's okay.
It is.
But it's interesting because it could mean something different or whatever for you. I don't know what it could open up, the fact that you can do what you do if other people knew. But that's something for you to walk through and try to figure out what you want to do with it. There are people, like I said, that are very definite though. This is something I do because I love, I have fun. This is what I get out of it. And I don't want it to be work.
Yeah.
I think this is not for you, Nikki, but I think for me, if I've held on to things that I do, I was really concerned about criticism.
Another reason.
And comparison, and also it's something that I'm protecting, and it's scary to be like, right?
Yes.
And I mean, I didn't have a page for, my hair, experience until very, very recently. And I've been doing hair for 30 years or longer, right?
Right.
And it made me feel like, okay, and even when I was doing the line dance thing, it made me feel like, okay, now people can say, well, so-and-so does it like that. Like, I had a real issue with the criticism. I probably still do.
That's so valid.
It is. So criticism, compare, control. These are good words for us to just throw into the ether here, because it just gives us a place to start thinking for us as individuals, right?
That was another comment that was missed on here from Candace. I put it on the other one, but she says the biggest distinction is that we have an idea that is an idea of saying or suggesting that being a jack in the Jill prevents you from being great at one thing.
And it doesn't.
That we are focused on the quality or the efforts instead of the quality of your effort. So it's basically saying like, you know, and then
Wow. I gotta write that.
That's right, sister-in-law.
Wow.
Blame you.
um I'm sorry, and instead of the quality of your efforts, and somehow that ends the results of being mediocre. Um, it assumes that one, the joy, success, impact only comes from being the absolute best at something, and or two, people are only warranted one special gift in life, and neither of those are true.
Amen.
I love
Yes.
that.
Yes,
That's right.
I wanna say that
Writer.
what she
Wow.
said. I think the biggest, yeah, I got it, Chani.
Distinction.
I love. I'm
This
being,
part right here, that you are focused on the quantity of your efforts instead of the quality of your efforts.
Of your efforts.
Your effort.
Yep. Yep.
That's what where you're just saying, like, a lot of times we as artists specifically, because that is the an example of something that is put in front of people more often than not, but like as an artist, you feel like sometimes you don't want to share your other gifts of artistry because it's not like considered to be the best, like, someone else in a group, like, if Nikki is a singer, like a closet singer, she may not feel like she is the best with the group of women that she runs with who are like wailers and like singers. So, you like start shunning back and like hiding the fact that you can do something, you know what I mean? But it's like the criticism of other people. At that time, you're just like, whatever,
Listen,
Being a dude.
I sang in church for many years, and I don't know if this is only a Black church thing, but I can't even tell you how much it'd be like, just sing out, sing louder. My voice is softer. My voice is probably more melodic than power and reaching across the room, right? And it was diminished by comments like that for many years. What it did, though, I ended up directing, right? So I sing every part, I direct the band, I write and produce plays and all of this stuff with my gift, right? So, but I was criticized from, choir members and people that would be like, just because my voice is different. And I spent a lifetime really trying to find my voice because I was comparing it to other voices for many years. It's something that, I talk about the work, right? That's something that it doesn't matter what it's your voice and your gift, your effort, like she said, because then you'll hear voices that don't sound, there's an Aretha Franklin voice. And then there's like a voice that is the complete opposite of hers that you can't stop listening to.
Right, like Espinoza. What's her name? You know what I'm talking about? I can't think of her first name, but her last name is Espinoza. She's like a really soft mannered, like, you kind of got to lean into like really hear all that she's saying. But just the funny thing is that like her following is just as strong as an Aretha following, Yeah.
This has been an amazing show, y'all.
Every week.
All trades or mastery of one is one better than the other. And I feel like there's something else in here, a part two with another shift of a message. I don't know, and I know we'll talk about it, but we thank y'all for contributing today. And I saw something. What it said? Let us be outside the box. Absolutely. I love that. And I want to end on that today. Thank you, everyone. Let's continue to be the master of all the trades that we have and find that connected.
It wrote that comment on Facebook.
Yes. And thank you to our Facebook. Thank you, Shani, for watching that for us. Before we go, I do want to shout out, go get your shirt. Put me first in the midst of it all. Lose the plot, find your joy. Unapologetically great. Why do I always do this when I say that? And everything I do, I'm so dope. We have the ladies first Chit-Chat crew, and of course, creating a space for me. You can go to the Ladies First Chit-Chat-Crew.com website to find your shirt. And remember what Shani says, it says out of stock, but it really isn't out of stock. It really isn't out of stock. Just go, sign up, get your size, pay for it, and then rock your shirt on Saturdays and send a picture to us. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more next week. Thank you to all of my Jill of all trades, mastery of it all. Have an amazing Saturday, everybody. And we will
Bye,
see
everybody.
you next
Bye.
Who's first? Ladies. Who's first? Ladies. Who's first? Ladies. What time is it? It's time for the ladies. 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 It's the Ladies First Chit-Chat Crew. It's time for the ladies. 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 It's the Ladies First Chit-Chat Crew. L-A-D-I-S, and we're up first. L-A-D-I-S, L-A-D-I-S, and we're up first. Speak what you want, unboss. Speak what you want, unboss. Speak what you want, unbossed. And we're up first. Unapologetically great. Unapologetically great. Unapologetically great. And we're up first. Yes, ladies. That's dope. Yes, ladies. That's dope. Yes, ladies. That's dope. And we're up first. It's time for the ladies. 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 It's the Ladies First Chit-Chat Crew. It's time for the ladies. 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 It's the Ladies First Chit-Chat Crew. One time for the ladies in the house. Two time make the people scream and shout. Lachelle, Chandra, Crystal with Nikki on boss and Nikki. L-A-D-I-S, L-A-D-I-S, and we're up first. L-A-D-I-S, L-A-D-I-S, and we're up first.
Bye, everybody.